It's 24/7 feel-good podcast in your ear. You're listening to The Dean Edwards Show, exclusively on the Digital Podcast Network. And now, here's your boy, Dean Edwards.
Yo, what's poppin'? It's your man, Dean Edwards. Welcome to another episode of the Dean Edwards Show, man. We had so much fun, we had to do it again. And I have my wonderful co-host, Venus DeMalo Thomas. Venus, what's up?
What's up?
Chillin'. And, of course, Iris Almario.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
I'm learning Spanish on the podcast. This is wonderful. You ladies doing well today?
Yeah.
Good. Well,
Doing
let's get right into it. You know what? We like to start things off with something that's popping, and right now what's popping. Maybe I'm wondering, because I went to the bank recently, and there was a sister working behind the counter, very friendly, pleasant energy. But she had what I'd call a black name.
Ooh.
You know, her name was Secretia.
Ooh.
Okay, and it made me wonder: does a name matter when it comes to a profession and job? You know, do you think that what your parents name you is going to affect your trajectory as far as what you do in life?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
it
think
does.
So.
Well, especially your name is Venus. So
Yeah. Well, my mom's name is Venus as well. She named me after her, and that's not something that's common for women to do. But she added the DeMilo. And if it comes from a place of reality, I feel like it's great. But it also creativity is great because as African American people of color, we're very creative.
Yes, we are.
You know, and we like to do things that haven't been done before.
True.
But
true.
you know, it's like
But
Secretia, Bonquisha, Tay Tay. Harlemisha. I don't know. Harlemisha.
So do you think maybe the problem is because to give a little history lesson for the people that may be uninformed, many of those names that they came sort of in the mid to late 70s after Roots.
Yes.
Which let me know. Let me know something.
Well, yeah, I know. I was Diane Carroll's baby in Roots 4.
What?
Okay,
What?
that was back in the day. You know,
Right.
it was the best TV series out there. You know, but you got Kunta Kinte.
Right.
You know, and everybody was inspired by that.
Right,
You know, that
right.
slave name.
Right.
You know, and versus your true given name.
Your name is Toby Kunta.
Kinte.
Right, because many of those many names from Africa had a sort of they were based in Arabic, if I'm not mistaken, or were they African?
But they were based in something.
They were
they
based in
had
something.
meaning.
They had meaning.
Yeah,
Yes.
and we still want it to have meaning.
Right.
You know,
right.
but when you don't have access to
Right.
to all those meanings.
Right, there was no Google in the 70s.
Right. So you just hyphenate and come up and let me make that I a Y, and you got your own creation.
And add Isha.
Right.
I think that's where the problem. I think the problem rose when people got lazy and said, I'm gonna just, like you said, like, here, I'm from uptown.
I love Harlem.
I love Harlem, so let me add Isha.
Right. She's a girl. I'm gonna call her Harlemisha.
Harlemisha.
But I mean, with names, people want to stand out nowadays. People are having kids. I mean, they really, really put a lot of thought into like what they're gonna name their kids. I mean, names like Fuchsia.
Right.
That stings.
Right.
Kid.
You know.
North, Saint, Chicago.
Oh, right.
Kim Kardashian and Kanye.
Right.
You got to be original.
That's right. I mean, with Latinos, we're pretty traditional. It's Maria Consuelo, Edith Adriana,
Jesus Senior, Jesus Junior,
right, Jose.
Jose again.
And then people will ask you, do I say it in Spanish or English? Which is funny because in New York I was Iris, but out here people call me Edith.
Edith.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
And when I started acting, a manager had asked me to do it if I wanted to change my name to make it more just easier, more white friendly. Really, is what he was talking about.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, Iris isn't a common name, and I'm glad that I never changed it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, I remember back in the days, these years ago when my mother used to work at ABC network, and Geraldo Rivera was Jerry Rivers.
Right. Oh,
wow. Back in the days, a lot of Jewish people as well would change their names.
Right. Everybody had a short American version, Americanized
I think everyone
version.
was doing some sort of, they wanted to conform
right.
so that people couldn't necessarily judge them ethnically.
I think what's great now is that people are saying, look, this is who we are.
Right.
You're going to have to learn how to say my name. If you can say this other name, ain't no reason why you can't can't say my name. So I love it. I think now people are accepting.
But people are embracing it. It's like, my name is Apple.
Right.
My name is Brooklyn.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. Yeah.
I had a woman. She was a booker for an agency I worked with, and the first time I met her, her name was Saida, or still is Saida, right? Her name is Saida, and I remember seeing the emails that Saida. So the first time I called her, I actually said Saida, and I said, what do you like to be called? And she said, well, because everything said Saida Sadie in parentheses,
right?
And I said, what do you like to be called? She said, well, I'm fine with people calling me Sadie. I said, that's not what I asked you.
Right.
I said, what do you like to be called? She said, well, Saida is my name. I said, then I'm gonna call you Saida. Right. So it comes from a place of respect. I think people are quick to shorten someone's name, but are you gonna vote for Secretia?
Right.
Like,
well,
can Secretia run for Senate and get the votes?
The great thing is I voted for Barack. And he got it in, and I don't know nobody named Barack.
Okay.
You know, so that kind of like he kind of
that worked for me too.
So
you
can
be president.
You can transcend what your name, maybe the stereotypes that people will associate with your name.
I think it depends where you are, guys.
Yeah.
Come on.
That's
this
true.
isn't Fairytopia,
right?
Okay, let's get real. Yeah,
right.
I like that you just added an Isha to Fairytopia.
Yeah.
No, because people have their mindset can be prejudiced, right?
Yeah.
They'll reject what they don't know. It makes them uncomfortable,
right.
And you might not actually get a real chance if you have a name like that.
Right.
Okay. So
true. It
depends where you are and who you're with.
And let's keep in mind, just like you just mentioned, President Barack Obama. Two of the most successful people in entertainment, and one of them the most successful in the world, their names are Iyanla Vanzant and Oprah Winfrey.
Right.
So you can move past, when a lot of people, I guarantee you, a lot of people when Oprah was coming up, they were like, oh, she ain't gonna be
right.
that,
Yeah, definitely.
Oprah. What's Oprah?
What is Oprah?
How you spell that?
Right?
Is it O-P, Ophira, Ophelia? Oprah.
Well, she talked about all the prejudiceness that she had to deal with growing up. Not just the color of her skin, but also her name.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a good thing to have a very creative name. It gives you tough skin.
So look, Secretia, there's hope for you yet.
Right? Just be glad your name ain't Amy Secretia.
Right.
Because you're going to have a better life.
You unique in your own way.
That's right.
This is the Dean Edwards Show. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is your resident supervillain, Mr. Jay Washington from the Brothers Own Football Podcast. Now, if you love NFL football the way that I do, and you want to hear expert analysis from a black man's point of view, then you have to check out Brothers Own Football, exclusively on the Digital Podcast Network.
Buenas, Jael DePardo here. Want to hear this Colombiana speak her mind? Then check out the Latin Dish Podcast exclusively on Digital Podcast Network.
Welcome back to the Dean Edwards Show, man. I'm sitting here with Venus and Irisman, or Iris, as I just learned out on the West Coast. And we were talking behind the scenes about siblings and whatnot. Do y'all think that sibling rivalry is still a thing? Still exists?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Of course. Family fights are the hardest.
Yeah.
You can have whatever you got going out on the streets, but when you get home, if you got to fight with your mama or your brother or your sister, ooh, that's real.
Yeah.
That sticks with you all day.
Yeah. Don't you guys watch the Kardashians?
No.
No, I do not.
I used to.
You weaned yourself off,
Oh, man.
I have two brothers, and I can't say that we have a sibling rivalry. Okay. I mean, it was just like the typical arguments. But I do remember this one incident that happened with my mom.
Really?
Yeah, with my mom.
So mother-daughter rivalry.
Yeah, it was weird. We never talked about it. It was pretty fleeting.
Are you fine talking about it now?
Yeah, I could. Well, she speaks Spanish. She's not gonna...
Say it in English.
No one translate. Okay.
Right.
It is continue.
I was dating this guy that was well off, and so it was nice. I got a chance to travel,
right.
and quite a bit. And we lived on different coasts. I was on the East Coast, and he was on the West Coast. Okay. And my mom had been going through a divorce with my dad, so to see her daughter happy, I'm sure she was happy for me. Right. But I remember saying to her, "Oh, I'm going to be out of town, leaving in like 2 days," and she just kind of looked at me. And she's like, "Oh, it must be nice to have that kind of life where you could just pick up and go." Oh. And it was And I know my mom loves me, and I know she supports me and wants the best for me and wants the life that, that she didn't have. But that moment just made me feel like, is my mom jealous of me?
Right. You know what, though?
But she's human,
Yeah.
It's like
that's happened to me in my life as well with my folks. But I also think sometimes they don't know how to express love. Mm-hmm. It's like we come from a different time where we know psychology and, good compliments and make your kid feel better. Like when we were growing up, our parents weren't coddling us.
Not at
you know
all.
what I'm saying?
So
it's like
latchkey kids.
Sometimes anything that my parents say, positive or negative, I kind of just try to turn it into love and know that maybe they can't say the right thing because they don't know how to, but they just going to say what they're going to say and make me feel a way, but I just got to turn that into positivity or else I'm going to just be sad because, it's like they can cut you deep. Just the look. It's like, damn, I thought I was doing good with my life.
My gums are bleeding, Mom.
Right?
I was just surprised to hear something like that from my mom because my mom is just like the sweetest, nicest lady that you could ever meet in the world. And then I thought, you know what, it's okay.
Did you and your mother ever have a conversation about it?
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm just talking to you guys about it.
Well, the therapy course.
Right? Yeah.
I never, because my looking back, my brother, I have an older brother, younger sister, and I don't think we had any sort of rivalry. I think like my brother was an athlete, and so because he was an athlete, I was always chasing being decent, a decent athlete. But I was funny, So I was like, okay, you got the muscles, I got jokes, And there was a point where I said, all right, well, this is not for me, and maybe it's not for you. Maybe y'all, the audience listening, maybe y'all can weigh in, and let us know how y'all feel if you had any issues with it. I appreciate, Iris, you sharing that with about your moms because I know it's been on your spirit for a long time.
Yeah, because that happened a long time ago, and I'm still talking about it.
Yeah, right.
You don't have to let that one go, baby.
With rivalries within family, it wasn't that I had a rivalry with like my cousins, but my dad would always go, well, look at your cousin. Your cousin's studying to be a doctor.
Yeah.
Your cousin's studying to be a psychologist.
Right.
What are you doing?
Right.
And I was like, oh. But there was no ill blood between my cousins and I, but it was always like my dad just trying to use that reverse psychology on me.
Right. Hey, thanks, Dad. Right? I appreciate thank you, Dad. I appreciate it, I guess. So I think what we're learning here is, family members mean well, but sometimes don't know how to communicate that properly. So your dad meant well, and he was meaning to motivate, not realizing that he's leaving you and your cousins looking at each other like, he always talking about how good you are.
Right. Am I supposed to hate you?
Right. And so I think it comes from a place of love. So I think moving forward that most families, whether siblings or family members, I think we all need to just recognize, that there are differences that we all have that make us all great. That's my little moral compass of the day. You take it how y'all want it. When I say two fingers, I mean a peace sign. So this is the Dean Edwards Show. Thank you, Venus and Iris, for hanging out, and we'll hear y'all listen to us on the next episode, man. All love, two fingers.
Yeah.
Yep.